All right, good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. I'll ask Andrew for the roll call.
Treasurer Diosa.
Here?
Gene Rondo. Here. Mark Carullo.
Here.
Michael Cicerone.
Here.
Joseph Codiga.
Here.
Matthew Howard.
Here.
Yen Lee.
Here.
Elena Mertens.
Here.
William Murray.
Here.
Andy Nada. Here. Alan Palazzo.
Here.
Sandra Paquette.
Here.
Dr. Shaw Hughes.
Here.
Michael Toohey.
Here.
We have forum.
All right, before we seek the approval of the draft meeting minutes of the May 20th, 2026 retirement board meeting, I'll ask Patrick for an adjustment.
Sure, I think the board would be seeking an amendment to page 2, the third full paragraph, the last line in that paragraph should be stricken, and it should read, Mr. Palazzo also provided his notes on the experience study, comma, which will be provided to any member of the public upon request of ERSRI.
Make a motion?
Not yet.
Okay,
I would also like those comments, notes emailed officially to members of the board. I know it's ex post facto, but I put a lot of time into that report. It's 68 pages. I went through it. I came up with notes, comments, and from my perspective, I don't believe the board had enough time to review it from 1500 on Monday to 0900 on Wednesday to review it and perform due diligence. So I want them to have a copy of my notes. The report is available to them, but I want my notes in writing to them.
So that
And I can email it to you, to Andrew after this meeting and go from there. But that's,
So, Mr. Treasurer, that has nothing to do with the agenda item. Certainly, if the executive director wants to take the notes and blast them out to the board members, he can do so, or any board member could email the executive director asking for a copy of the minutes, and he provides them to them as a member of the public. But as far as the agenda item and considering the minutes, I'm not sure. There's nothing to be said regarding it.
it was my understanding that they were to have been done. As I said, this is a 68-page report. And I have the time to do it. I don't believe the members of the board had the time to do it. So I want you to see my notes and comments in writing available. You have this available. You don't have that, and that was my intent at the last meeting.
so we're gonna update the minutes and we'll share with the group. So do I have a motion to approve? Motion to amend first. Well, no?
Yeah.
Want a motion? Second, Andy? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
No,
Mr. Chairman, I'll abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Abstention, okay,
Neither was I.
neither were you two, all right. Now that we have the amended, I'll take a motion to approve the whole minutes. So moved. I got that.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll now move forward with the executive director's report.
Great. My report is very brief this week. It also has to do with you'll be receiving an email from either myself or Roxanne later today. We have 2 adjustments to board schedule. First, due to some attendance, we will not be having a July meeting. But since we already were not intending to have an August meeting, we do need a meeting over the summer so we don't get behind on approving special disabilities and other items. We expect that we'll be doing both kind of training and review of the defined contribution plan that we need to do annually at the next meeting. So the 3 possible dates are August 5th, August 12th, and August 19th. My understanding when we've had to switch meetings in the past, previous director would give everyone a vote. We'll see when most people can come. So that will be coming to your inbox. After this, we'll have a couple days to review your schedules and see which one works. But it's the 3 Wednesdays, August 5th, 12th, and 19th, just to make sure we have our summer meeting. The second one is earlier in the legislative session, the primary was rescheduled, and it was rescheduled to the day of our board meeting on September 9th. So that also then across downhill, the school districts all changed their schedules. Everyone has different obligations on that day. So we're going to move the September meeting 1 week out to the 16th. So it was before would be right in Labor Day. So those two changes, you'll receive all that in writing, then you'll receive an updated calendar, and an updated calendar will be posted to open meeting. And that actually concludes my report.
Did you say the 15th?
Wednesday, the 16th. Okay. Update the calendar invites and send mail, give your preference.
Thanks for Andrew. No, all right, thank you. I'll now ask for a motion to approve the May 2026 pensions as presented by ERSRI. So moved by Gene. Second, all in favor? So moved. Thank you. Now to legal counsel report.
Thank you, Treasurer. The case updates have been provided in the convened material. Nothing that deserves or warrants a specific mention unless there's questions by board members. I was also asked by Executive Director Ruse, based upon a request of a board member, to provide a review of general laws, section 36-8-4.1. A copy of that statute is included in the material on convene. Briefly, subsection A of that statute details 6 different duties that board members must abide by when discharging their fiduciary obligations. Board members may recall that at the December 2024 board meeting, Ashley Dunning presented on the board's fiduciary obligations. As part of that presentation, which can still be accessed by board members on convene, the board was advised that, quote, the board must use informed judgment and act in the overall best interest of system participants/beneficiaries in a manner that is consistent with applicable laws when exercising its plenary authority over the administration of ERSRI. It's kind of a general guidepost for board members, synthesizing those 6 different obligations. My suggestion would be that if board members have further questions specific to their fiduciary obligations, that the member or members first review the December 2024 presentation. And if they still have a specific question, concern, hypothetical, then that board member contact Executive Director Ruse with their specific question or hypothetical. Director Ruse can then either direct that question to me to be addressed further, or incorporate that question or hypothetical into a future training or continuing education presentation to the board. Subsection B dovetails nicely into this, which requires that the board receive continuing education. The executive director plans for and facilitates these continuing education requirements of the board. And then finally, subsection C requires that if the board takes any action contrary to the recommendation of the plan actuary, then such action must be reported to all plan members, the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president. Executive Director Ruse is aware of this obligation.
Questions? So,
Hi, yes, I am the board member who requested this review. And you did emphasize that there were 3, but I am emphasizing the first of the 3, which is the members act solely in the interests of participants and beneficiaries, with the primary purpose of providing benefits and paying reasonable administration expenses. With all due respect, we have had one training in one professional video pertaining to fiduciary training. That is one person's perspective. I have done a lot of research online, and there are many, many other experts in the field who have a different perspective than that one. And I don't fault that perspective, but I just feel that we have to look at this issue a little more broadly. And if I could just say this quickly, when you look at a law, you look at the letter of the law. In this case, that is very apparent. The spirit of the law, which in my opinion mirrors the letter. But the third thing, and I think this is what we are missing, is the interpretation of the law. And this group, as I know, has used a specific interpretation for many, many, many years. And so when I come in, or Aldo comes in, or any new person comes in, and all of a sudden says something contrary to what the interpretation has been for how many years, then you kind of just shrug it off as, oh, wow, she's new. No, as I said, I do my research. I know Aldo does as well. And I think we are doing a tremendous disservice to 60,000 people if we do not take another look at that law and interpret it based upon much more of a general viewpoint, with the help of some experts in the field who may look at it a little differently. So this is why I'm not going to belabor the point here. But I do want it to be part of a fiduciary training, because a training that has no reference to the members is incomplete. Based upon this law, the first of it.
I'll make one follow-up. We have talked about different trainings in almost every meeting since I started. Those are kind of prescribed by our rules. We do have a process already in place for adding things to our continuing education curriculum, so to speak. So I encourage everyone on the board to email me if there's things you would like training on, and those kind of go through the governance committee. The governance committee can then either prescribe it goes to everybody, or I can just look to incorporate it in future meetings.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sorry, go ahead. No, for sure. One follow-up for Patrick. So with that being said, with the statement the treasurer read, we still have to follow the law.
Correct.
So whether I agree or I have a particular bias to supporting a particular class of members, I may want to do that, but I still have to articulate my position in conformity with existing laws that are on the books.
And I think that Ashley Dunning talked about that, how there's a difference between settlers, fiduciaries of a trust, and settlers are the advocates,
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah.
and you as fiduciaries have to operate pursuant to the law, and you're guided by the law, not necessarily your advocacy position.
Yeah, so in that point, there's no ambiguity regarding our fiduciary responsibility, and
Please.
whether I like it or not.
I agree with that. I think Ashley Dunning, was what was provided in the training that Ashley Dunning gave to this board back in December and then also May of last year.
But I think that recommendation comes more broadly than from Ashley Dunning. Right?
It's general trust law.
General
Exactly.
applicable law or a
Correct.
board like this in our law.
Correct.
Excuse me, I have to say this, Mr. Nato, with all due respect, I am not an advocate here. I'm a member of a board that supervises the income of 60,000 people. I do not have on an advocate hat, I have on pension board hat. And when you say you have to follow the law as stated is very clear that we must act solely in the interest of our participants. You are saying what I am asking for.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
But my point is, the laws that were changed in 2012, we're following the law based on how members were ultimately altered. They're, again, agree or disagree, that's
Okay.
fine. I mean, but that's the law that I'm referring to. Is
Okay.
that the law was changed, members were treated differently, and our fiduciary responsibility, we're following that law by applying the regulations as they exist today. That's how I see it.
Mr. Nada, I would disagree, and I knew there was a reason why I let you go first, because that was a great segue where I'm going. We keep citing the law. 3684-1, subparagraph A. 1, the part that people keep disregarding solely in the interest of the participants and beneficiaries. There's over 31,000 beneficiaries right now. 2, for the exclusive purpose of providing benefits to the participants, again, and beneficiaries. From what I've seen since I've been on this board, we keep focusing on participants to the detriment of the beneficiaries. We're not looking at that. I testified at Senate Finance a while ago, and my experience is that people keep doing things over and over because, quote, that's the way we've always done it. They don't look at the law, as I said, and beneficiaries. We're not acting in the best interest of our beneficiaries. Would a reasonable man do this? Take action upon the conditions presented? I don't see it. You may disagree with me, but I will be very vocal from now on for participants and beneficiaries. Just to let you know, on the 24th or 25th, when the SIC reports out again and comes up with a pension fund value, I think you people will be amazed. The treasurer has done a great job, along with Justin Mastro, in growing the fund. However, we are not acting in the interest of our beneficiaries
And participants.
and participants. We're losing 1,000 a year based upon, quote, the Whitney of the Senate fiscal staff. Oh, we're just going to go along state of course until 2029. You're going to lose another 4,000 retirees. You may be able to live with that, but I can't. I'm on the board. I see the information. I research it, what's available, and you need to look in the mirror whether you can live with that. And I'll just leave it at that.
What are you referring to? Are you referring to the benefits that have been authorized under Rhode Island general law and enhancing those? Are you referring to the fact that we're not approving the benefits as they're defined? I'm not clear on where you're going.
Okay, reasonable man approach. I have been following the pension fund growth. In the preceding 11 months, the pension fund has grown $1.4 billion. Okay, it's increasing. When we had the experience study, and you weren't here to read my comments and notes, and you'll get a copy because I think you'll be amazed. A reasonable man, or should I say, they said that the pension fund value has actually decreased, not a lot, 0.1%. I counter that because I believe it has increased tremendously. And when that report comes out later this month, you're all going to be amazed. The problem is the legislative session will have ended. There will be no opportunity to take action for the other 1,000 people that will die in the interim. And I just can't allow it. I'll speak my mind. I'm here. If you don't like it, that's fine with you. You may disagree, but I have the facts.
I appreciate you speaking your mind, but just to clarify, I think what you're referring to is based on your analysis and your research, what you believe that the pension fund has grown, and that based on the growing fund that members and participants should get potentially the benefit of that by enhancing that benefit. Is that correct?
Exactly. And to let you know, as an aside, I addressed the general treasurer at a meeting, and my proposal to him was that Gina Raimondo could come up with ERSRI 2011 back then with the same staff that he has now. He could do the same thing and change it based on a reasonable man approach. I'll point something out to you, okay? When that went into place, ERSRI 2011, there were 26,000 retirees. There are approximately 31,000 now, and I'm giving you rough numbers. If you want me, I can give the specifics. 15,000 retirees have passed without a COLA. They've been replaced by 16,000 active or future retirees, okay? And my point being that all I see is rubber stamps.
Sandra, while you're talking.
No, it's Sam. And by the way, just to let you know, we refer to him as Sam because during that last meeting, the presentation, our perspective was that it was specifically tailored to questions that Sandra had asked. However, the hypothetical was Samantha. So in our intergroup emails, she refers to herself as Sam.
All right, can I just say something, please? I don't want to get away from the agenda item that I had requested to, while I agree 1,000% with what Aldo is saying. We're not talking right now about that. We are talking about interpreting the law of our fiduciary responsibilities as it stands right now. And if you read the language of it, the letter of the law, you can see why I would question the actions that did not go along with that. That's all I'm asking for at this point. The other is a major
I was
issue
asking
to continue.
Alan
I know,
to
I know.
clarify
But
what
again,
the
I want to
action
stay
is.
on,
Yeah,
you
so I
know,
think
interpreting.
you asked to put that agenda item. I think Patrick did a good job
Okay,
addressing it.
thank you.
So are there any other questions for Patrick? No, seeing none? Great, Doctor, we're moving on to you.
I'll make a motion to approve the disability committee recommendations from our June 5th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? So moved. Thank you, Doctor. Gene. Big role here.
Thank you. The election committee met this morning, Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. We reviewed the results from the Board of Elections. The three candidates and John Mons Jr. was winner. He received 509 votes, which equates to 61%. The committee voted to recommend certification of the election results as tabulated by the Board of Elections on June 8th, 2026. Right?
I have a motion to approve, to accept the recommendation.
Point of order. When Sandra and I were elected a while ago, we each received approximately 5,000 votes. I reviewed this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there were 14,000 state employees, and the return was only 883 votes. My question is, how were those ballots sent out, or how many were sent out? And I mean, I'm amazed that only 883 responded, given the importance of this meeting. So I just wanted to know how many were sent out, what was the time frame, et cetera.
So the timeframe, so first of all, the 12,049 were the active universe. It's with previous elections. That group of people were sent by first class mail a notification of the election. For those whom we have an email, we sent an email out to them, also notifying the election in all state buildings. We had a COA to place notice of the election. And then all of those people were sent a ballot and they had the opportunity to respond. The turnout in this election, special election, was about half of what it was in other state elections. But those are the facts. If you wanted me to hypothesize on the turnout in other election environments, a special election having a turnout about half of a regular election is well within the range of normal. And secondly, there were 7 people who initially got papers to get signatures. Only 2 responded. I think often people get the people they know to vote, like they're encouraging people to vote. And so having a smaller candidate pool probably drove a smaller total turnout.
Yeah, I'm still questioning the numbers, because you said 12,000 went out and you got 800 back. In our election, between the number 1 and number 2, discounting myself, between Sandra and the second person, you're talking 8,000 votes. And I'm not I'm just questioning the methodology, how it went out, and I just want to get it on the record so we have it.
Okay, one other qualification. In a normal election, you're choosing multiple people. This was for only 1 spot, which would by itself cut it in half. Another question over here.
I would just want the election committee to consider in future elections, especially for active employees, whether or not it's appropriate to do a online election. I know I'm part of other groups that have boards where there are professional firms out there that do secure enough processes for board votes and proxy votes and that kind of thing that seems suitable for those organizations, which are a similar scope as this. I might understand for retirees if we don't have reliable email addresses, but for active employees, most active employees are checking their email every day. And it is disappointing to see such a low turnout in an election.
I agree. I think it would be appropriate to bring to governance some other possible changes to the law, or not the law, so our rules. One I noted in particular is that in the extremely rare event of an actual tie, would have been required to immediately hold another election in the same way, which have doubled our costs. And I think there've probably been more efficient ways. But given this is the first election we kind of administered while I was here, as a special election, we followed the previous protocol and the advice of the Board of Elections.
And I'm not questioning the outcome in any way. I'm just saying that it is.
Methodology.
I know a few groups that I'm in, it's awful tough to get people to reply. To
Well-
vote already,
This,
I mean, you
this
see it,
tend to support Joe's
yeah,
suggestion,
it is, that's why I said
100%, and cut down on the cost
Mhm.
for 12,000. What are we at? That's probably about $8,000 just in mailings
But it's
for that
awful,
one
tough.
shot.
People just ignore them, no matter what the issue is.
It may also cut down the 99 ballots that were postmarked after June 1st.
Yeah, so technically, Andrew, so you showed 834 that were eligible, but you had another 102, right? 2 that were legible, 99 that were postmarked, so really it was 935.
Yeah, well, the two were counted. They were.
Oh,
they
you
were-
did count
the Board
those.
of Elections
Okay, so
was
it's-
able to.
Not that it helps a lot, but it's, well, technically, I consider participation, whether I did it on time or not, at least I was trying to participate. So it's about 7.8%, still low, but technically it's a little higher than 800, about 934, 935.
Right, Gene. Yes.
President of my condo association, and we could not get a quorum. People just didn't care. Last year, we changed it by email and Zoom, and we got 70% participation, so I would support that.
That's your committee, Gene, so. There's some recommendations.
I think he made the recommendation and we're just looking for a motion. to
Yeah, yeah.
approve it.
Motion to approve? Oh,
No,
Question.
question. These elections run through the Board of Elections. Does the Board of Elections endorse online voting? And that's a follow-up basically. Are we mandated to use the Board of Elections for these votes? For these elections?
I mean, everyone's sort of speaking for them. I believe the Board of Elections could administer an election in many different ways, and they have not, to my knowledge, done an online election, but I believe they would be capable of helping administer an online election.
And not to give you a job, but you've already got one. But if we can make a phone call, not now, obviously, but I mean, just to get the groundwork done to find out if they do support online elections, then we can move on what is apparently an acceptable alternative if we don't violate any of the laws or rules that are in place.
Yeah, I would say that the staff here has heard me kind of grousing about this. I'm very excited to work on ways we can streamline and improve our election process.
So thank you.
yeah, so anyone want to make the motion to accept the recommendation? Al, second?
Also.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So move. Thank you, Gene. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Gene,
One second.
second, Andy, all in favor? Aye, meeting adjourned. One thing is that
I wanted to do this, I guess, I
the
wasn't
moment
paying attention.
you don't send a ballot in the mail, don't.